ASMR! Listen to the insects. What insect is that, I wonder? I don't think cicada. That's not a cicada, it's something else. How about the birds? What birds have we got going here? When those bloody insects shut up for a minute, well, here's some. Anyway, I'm gonna go get some water, and I'll let you guys watch or listen to the birds or insects or whatever you want to do. Okay. Doesn't look like any snakes here. From what I can see, that's good. I like that. No snakes, that's good. Let's see what the water flow is like. That's good. Quite slow. Quite slow. Peace and love. Love and light. Oh, it's a beautiful day today. Sunny. It's hot already though. When it's sunny like this at this time of year, it can get pretty hot. Even up here. It's not really vaccine zone. It just mitigates symptoms, right? You know that, right? Where are you getting the information from? Great. Best water in the world, as always. Hey, one thing, I'm not smelling the dead thing here anymore. I guess it's all been eaten away by insects or rotten or something. That's good. There we go. Water is flowed. How's it going out there? Hey, do you want to have a little tour of my pack basket? I want to show you my pack basket. Okay, hang on, let's flip this. Okay, so this is a canoe pack, actually. Canoe pack basket. It's made with black ash. And the way you separate the fibers in black ash is really interesting to me. Yeah, interesting to me. I've never made a pack basket, so this is just as taught to me and told to me. What you do is you take a log of black ash and you soak it for like a month or something, and then you start smashing it with heavy sledgehammers and stuff like that, and that makes the fibers split off into these pieces, and then you just cut them, I guess, to the size you want, and then you got black ash pack basket. So traditionally, this sort of thing would be used with for canoeing. So it's really common in the far northern continental U.S. and of course throughout a great deal of Canada, lake country in Canada, basically Canadian Shield Canada, probably elsewhere too. My own adoption had a strap with this, but I made these straps out of leather, and that's what I like to do, and it works really well for heavy weights. And on the bottom, you can see, and this is the original support straps that came with it, but of course I made my own leather thingy-majiggers there. And these wood slats here are so that when it sits in the bottom of the canoe and there's a bit of water, it helps to keep it above the water a little bit. And yeah, so it's going, I mean, it's getting worn, especially in here. It's getting rubbed off a fair bit. I think it's still okay. But I'm sure I've had this for 20 years. 20 years, I'm sure of it, or more even. It's great. It's great. Yeah. Back in home in Canada, I would use it for canoeing and canoe trips. Solo ones especially, I guess. But also hiking. I used it for hiking trips. I would often take it. Yeah. It's, over the years, I've been a wilderness enthusiast for a long time, right? Like since I was 16 was my first little solo trip. It was really little, but it's the beginning. So when I was younger, I used to love all the high-tech stuff, right? I had some beautiful packs. A lot of this comes out of the mountaineering world, right? So in Canada, they have Mountain Equipment Co-op and stuff, and a lot of that's mountaineering focused, but gets spread out into the general kind of camping use. But as I got older, I started to use more traditional things like these packs. I went from wearing heavy hiking boots to basically moccasins, almost barefoot. Here, well, I have these rubber boots right now, but I have a pair of leather moccasins that I made that I put soles from these rubber boots on the bottom. Because here, you could certainly get by with just a leather sole, but it's so wet. And anyway, a bit of rubber is not going to hurt. And what else? Yeah, so as I got older and more experienced and I guess better skilled, my need and desire for high-tech equipment reduced to a huge degree, right? And also, back home, I used to camp in just a tarp shelter type situation. Usually during the bug season, I would have a tent or something just because the mosquitoes were fierce. But, in the fall, I would just have a tarp, just sleep out under the tarp, protect you from rain and stuff. But at some point, for me, I became kind of aware of this. There's this aspect of, and I see it in other people a lot. Don't usually comment because we all have our own things, right? But I've noticed that a lot of times people will go to the high-tech stuff because it's thinking that it's going to protect them from nature. Because there's this fear of nature, right? It's a very deep primal thing, right? So, and I feel it too sometimes. And I've been doing this, I'm 63, I've been doing this for a long time, right? A lot of it's solo. So I've been out even up here in the jungle here, I go up on my own fair bit. Anyway, so there's this interesting thing of, if I get the right equipment, then I'll be safe from the unknown. I'll be safe from the perils of the natural world. They're out to get me, right? And they are out to get you. You know what I mean? It's not exactly an unreasonable thought process, because it's what it is, and we're all part of nature, right? It's out to get you, and it's also out to help you, probably. What is it John Livingston said? In nature, everyone benefits everyone. Something like that. Everyone helps everyone. Something like that. And that's true. In the bigger sense of things, how things interact and create a balance, right? It's really true. I believe, anyway. And from my own observations and experience. Sometimes you'll see people boy, I'm just ranting away here. People say, oh, the balance of nature, you know, the people, the indigenous people, wherever you are, oh, they live in balance with nature. And people would counter, yeah, but there's all sorts of situations where the indigenous people completely destroyed their environment, which is true, right? Big time. But when we say that the animals and humans living a more connected life live in balance, it's like an overall sense of balance, I would say, you know. There's plenty of instances where people have overshot their balance in a particular location, you know. And engaged in all kinds of things, wars, genocides. Nothing new, right? The thing about now is the industrial scale of it all. Anyway, I'm gonna start walking. My little rant about Paxac went into the thing about equipment and protecting us from nature. Doesn't though, right? We know that. But there's something about it. If I just spend some money and I get the most scientifically proven high-tech stuff, I'll be a little bit more protected. But it's actually quite the opposite. I still haven't finished the rant, eh? So, like, if you walk around in heavy boots, and again, back in the 70s, a lot of that was coming out of the mountaineering world, right? So people were buying for hiking these stiff mountaineering boots, and they were all leather, of course. They didn't have plastic ones. I don't think much then, and you know, they're stiff because you put on crampons so you could climb up freaking glaciers, right? You didn't need to call on a trail, but people got them because they thought, oh, this is the most expensive and the highest tech and the stiffest and the most protection, right? And just taking this one simple aspect of footwear, that thick sole and thick boot completely deprives you of any kind of communication with the ground you're walking on. You don't feel the ground in those, right? If you go barefoot, you feel everything. You'll notice slight changes in things which can alert you to other things. In the end, it's a safer way. But of course, if you're going to walk around barefoot or in thin-soled shoes or moccasins, you need to be awake, right? You need to be woke. So that's why I think the less technology you can have, the better. What else? And then there's other things like GPS and things, you know. Like I have a GPS thing on this phone, right? And what I do is I go up the mountain here, and I'll plot where I'm going. If I'm going along trails that are new to me, I'll just plot it so I can look at it. But I don't tend to follow it, because if you follow your phone, you won't know where you're going. You'll just rely on the technology. You won't see what's around you, right? And that's pretty clear to me. Anyway, but people love the GPS, right? I guess the same thing happens on roads, but I guess that's more reasonable. Anyway, I'm gonna start walking. Catch you in a minute. Ciao. Not ciao. See you in a minute. Okay. Oh, what a great day. I'm gonna flip it right away so you can see the beautiful sky and the sun-dappled leaves and forest. Yeah. Look at that blue. Woohoo! Middle of the rainy season. Yeah, September is definitely looking to be the rainiest month so far, I'd say, but we'll see. Maybe everything's delayed and October will be a rainy month too. We'll see. Look at that. A hole. I wonder what made that. Interesting. into this. Hey there. Just had something in my mind, I better switch it before I forget. Just that I was talking about on the last walk, which was actually a week and a half ago. I'm here on a Sunday. I don't go through quite the 2 full bottles in a week at this time of year. During the hot season I do, but I guess drink a bit less water this time of year. But about the ivermectin thing, right? And last time I commented that it's really interesting to see all these articles about the dangerous horse paste and the neurotoxin that's, you know, the dangerous neurotoxin that's been given out 3.8 billion times with 20 deaths registered with the WHO. And the deaths were probably not the drug, but more reaction with killing parasites and within the brain, within the little brain. Like the worms die in your brain and then you go with it. It's happened a few times. Anyway, it's rare. But anyway, I was commenting about all the news, the negative news, and thinking it's some sort of preparation, right? Is it a preparation for, maybe they're gonna, one thing I posited was that, oh, maybe they're setting it up so that, just say, oh, actually ivermectin, probably, they'll say, oh, yeah, we're neutral on it, and then a few months later they go, actually, it's probably pretty good, you can take it. I guess that's still a possibility, but I think if they're doing that, they're maybe setting everyone up with the idea of antiviral treatments, right? Early treatments and stuff like that. Because it's becoming very clear that though the vaccines appear to help many people with severity of illness, just, you know, something worth considering, they're rapidly seeming to... Oh shit, there I go. Look at that. Oh, I can't see it. Oh, I just stepped on the edge of that trail and dipped down like a foot and a half. See, it's really wet right now, eh? Everything's soft. But I didn't... Ooh! I didn't go down. That's good. Yeah, well, it's not very... It's steep here, but it's not very long and it's soft. So I probably wouldn't go down far or hurt myself, but I'd be in a jam, right? I'd be upside down on my pack like a turtle and... Ugh, anyway, whatever. Be careful. Yeah, so setting things up for the possibilities down the road when antivirals would be something that people will be looking into, right? They're not looking into it now because it's all vaccine push, right? Is it even a vaccine anymore? You know, I think they changed the definitions in some dictionaries about what a vaccine is. Anyway, I won't go into that. But yeah, so, but here's the thing. I know that Merck, and Merck was a company that, it was a Irish Campbell, I forget his first name, and a Japanese man, oh shoot, I can't remember the names. Anyway, ivermectin was discovered, and as I said a few times, in a golf course near Tokyo, it's my understanding. It comes from the earth, man. That's a big part of why I think it's a better choice for me. It comes from the earth, not just some manufactured stuff. Anyway, yeah, so, but Merck was the first pharmaceutical company to, well, it was the pharmaceutical company that developed it and made it. And it caused an incredible benefit. I mean, I think it's on the WHO list of essential medicines that kind of saved mankind to some level, like with antibiotics and like penicillin and all that. And it saved millions of lives, and the whole thing with river blindness. I mean, these are all parasitical infections, right? So we're not talking about the same use, but nonetheless, really interesting history. And then Merck, the great big pharma money grubbing whatevers, they just gave away the patent. You can make it. You don't have to pay any Like if you're a drug manufacturer, you can just make it. And it's cheap to make as far as I know. I mean, obviously it's cheap to make. Like a pill costs like 5 cents in India, I think. Yeah, so Merck gave it away for the health of mankind. That's something to remember, right? That's something to keep in mind. Things are always more complex. Like I'm gonna be the first one to say, oh, big pharma about as evil as it comes, right? We all know that from experimenting and stuff over the years. But at the same time, look what they did with that, eh? I heard there were some villages in Africa where half the men by the age of 40 or something, I don't know the numbers, but you get my point, would be blind from this parasite. And ivermectin stopped it, like completely. So, incredible. But, moving right along, Merck is also developing a new antiviral drug, right? And they came out to say that ivermectin was dangerous to use for COVID and ineffective. Like dangerous is a weird word for them to use. I think that's what they use. I could be wrong on that, but I think so. Because it's not a dangerous drug, right? It's like one of the safest drugs in the world. I mean, it's a drug though. You gotta be careful, right? You can't be stupid with it. But I don't know. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you want. Oh, here's our water tanks. But Merck got $1.2 billion to develop a new antiviral drug. You tell me. You tell me, huh? That'd make you a little suspicious. And then came out recently with the thing about this. Ivermectin is dangerous to use for COVID and blah, 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 right? Yeah, okay. Maybe that's true. I don't think it's true. But. And I think Pfizer, I don't know what Pfizer got, but I think Pfizer is also working on an antiviral drug. So this is a significant thing, right? Because, well, Pfizer especially, because they're the big sort of quote-unquote vaccine makers, right? Among others. Like over here, Pfizer is seen as, it's kind of a class system. Isn't it? Oh my goodness, look at that. Hang on. Look at that bamboo. See the cuts in it? That's probably done by people. And my bet is, oh for sure, but my bet is they either dropped it, it's like an old, dropped the bamboo and then cut it, or it just fell over and they cut into it. Because there's these really tasty worms that grow in the bamboo. I actually never tried them. I tried to try them though. It would be good to know how to get them and stuff, just in case, right? In case the mandates come and all I can do is eat bamboo worms for the rest of my life. You know, that might not be the worst thing that ever happened. It'd be pretty healthy. Trade some through the forest, eating bamboo worms and some, I don't know, hunting small animals or something. Anyway, let's leave that outside. Yeah, so there's, now I think that all the flurry with the press about ivermectin is, I think it might be a setup for getting people into the idea of an antiviral thing, because the quote-unquote vaccines are not really doing anything. And they're doing stuff, like I said, they seem to be helping with efficacy, but they lose with their disease intensity, but they seem to lose their strength over time. And how is that even a surprise, right? Yeah, so, you know, let's put out some articles about antivirals. So it's in people's heads, right? They're all negative, but they're still, oh, antiviral, it's in people's heads now. And you know, the manipulation going on is just up the yin-yang. Holy crap. It's wild. It's just wild. It's like, wow, you guys all buying into this, right? Okay. Anyway, So now the idea of an antiviral is in the collective consciousness, and all we have to do is say, hey, we took this $1.2 billion and made a really effective antiviral that's under an EUA right now, because, you know, that's probably what they do, put it under emergency use authorization, like the quote-unquote vaccines. And, yeah, so what a shit show and a dumpster fire this all is. Or Mad Hatter's Tea Party, mixture of the two. Yeah, so maybe this, I don't know what this drug will cost. You know, I have ivermectin, and not including shipping, it cost me 21 cents. What did I figure out? With shipping from India, I probably spend 50 cents per week to cover me. And then I like it because when things have calmed down seriously, I'll just stop taking it. Just have it on hand in case a flurry comes up. So far, so good. I'm not feeling any negative consequences. Oh, I forgot to move a rock. It's probably okay. Yeah, I'm not feeling any negative side effects myself. Yeah. So there you go, with the ivermectin thing. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the fall goes. I've thought all along that a lot will be revealed this coming autumn in the north, in the industrial north, right? Like in Canada, in the northern states, I guess northern Europe, different places, different cultures, but I know Canada better, so I usually focus on that. And in Canada, that means November. Things get really cool, close to freezing, and rain a lot. They're perfect breeding ground temperatures for respiratory illnesses like flus and stuff. So I think over the next few months we'll see what happens, and hey, maybe it'll be fine. Maybe all the Canadians, one of the highest vaccinated adults, and they're going for the kids now, of course, but whatever, in the world, like 67, 8% or something. You'd think they'd be happy with that, but nope. Yeah, nothing to say. Yeah, so we'll see. Like, maybe hardly anyone will get sick or die, and they'll say, well, it's because of the vaccines. And you're going, yeah, okay, I still don't want to take them for me. I have moral issues about it. I'm not afraid of getting sick from them, really. I'm old enough that, anyway. And on the other hand, if there's a lot of cases, because the thing is, like, the situation in Israel was showing, what's the latest data? Hospitalizations were equal within the non-vaccinated, right? With the double vaccinated people in Israel. But on the other hand, it was showing that people that had their third dose were really protected. And that surely has to do with time. Because the third doses would have come in the last, I don't know, month. So then, you know, and you know, they've been talking about, see it all over the place now, right? About the booster doses, and it's becoming a thing. And there's just two people in the U.S., two extremely high up people said, screw this, we're getting out of here. For some reason, I don't know exactly why, but someone posited that it had something to do with the U.S. government trying to hoodwink the FDA into recommending booster doses, right? It's like a weird movie, right? So we'll see what happens. Anyway, the gist of it is, we'll see how things go over this next, what is it, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Yeah, over the next half year, we'll be getting a good idea. And there'll be all kinds of propaganda. On both sides, probably, right? It's going to be hard to sift through all the information. But probably if there is a big bump in cases, the people that aren't vaccinated will be blamed. Hard blamed, right? And, you know, and that's probably just going to be bullshit, right? It's my prediction. And they go, oh, so you unvaccinated people. It's like, yeah, well, what about you vaccinated people that are possibly feeding new variants because of selective pressure? That Brett Weinstein's talked about, and Heather Haying, and Geert Vanden Bosch, who was much maligned with his thoughts and concerns. Ooh, look at that, eh? Check that out. Stunning, eh? Much maligned for his thoughts and concerns. And, yeah, well, some of them are seem to be coming out, right? I wouldn't dismiss his stuff. If you don't know who he is, Geert Vanden Bosch, geez, I don't know. Is he Dutch or is he from Belgium? Anyway, he's a virologist, like a real one. And he had been talking a long time ago that there's a real risk in mass vaccinations in the midst of a pandemic, and it's really about selective pressure and more dangerous variants emerging from that selective pressure. So, well, we'll see. I was always 50-50, right? I was like, oh, this is really interesting. This is a good point. We have to pay attention to it. And everyone else, not everyone, but most people are going, oh, what a nutcase. It's like, yeah, I don't think, you can't go, oh, flat earthers, you gotta believe in evolution, and not take that seriously, right? But, of course they do. A lot of people do. Anyway, so I have to finish this off. I'm at the end of my trail. I'm at the end of my trail! Jesus Christ! Oh, look at that. Let's have a look at the forest. Whew. Geez, when the sun comes flying through like this, it's so beautiful. It's so dense, right? It's so like covered, and it's so not like Saskatchewan. I'll say. Or Alberta for that matter. Or Manitoba or Ontario or Quebec or BC or whatever. Well, maybe it's a little like BC in a more tropical sense. Anyway, so there you go. Geert Vanden Bosch. All that. Over the next half year, we'll see. Mandates are coming. I know a lot of people think they're just the greatest idea going. I think it's freaking about as evil as it comes. And maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe you just kind of can't go to some restaurants, or who knows how it'll go, but it has the potential to get really, really bad. And I have to tell you, I'm really shocked that so many of my Canadian artist friends are like, no, it's a great thing. We have to protect everyone. It's like, you're not protecting shit. You're only... It's really weird, actually, in my opinion, of course. Yeah, a lot of artist friends are just going along with it. But I know some that aren't, right? And up until now, I've been like, oh, wow, the masses are like just going along with it, like the vast majority, right? But to tell you the truth, there's a lot of people in Canada that went, yeah, I don't know about this. I'm going to hang off a bit and see how this all pans out, right? And actually, there's a lot of artist friends I have. I mean, a lot of my friends on Facebook are artists, right? So the kind of world I spin in are actually going, oh, no, over my dead body, right? A lot. It's a minority, but it's not a tiny minority. So that's encouraging. I can think of lots of people. I won't name them here just in case. I don't want to name and shame. That's a great line. You know, Kevin Bridges, he's a Glaswegian comedian. He had this great thing where he was in Derry. Oops. He was in, I think it was Derry in Northern Ireland. Sometimes they say Londonderry. It's really called Derry, right? Anyway, just on the border with Donegal. Anyway, what was he's there, and God, I should just post the thing. Maybe I'll post a clip below in the comments. But basically, he's doing this thing, and there's some woman there that obviously started getting pissed the morning of his show. And the way he describes it, like she's sitting there going, like she's just completely out of it, right? And it's like, he just wakes up and goes, that's Kevin Bridges. Oh, sorry, my accent's terrible. Kevin. Through the whole show. Kevin Bridges, that's your man, Kevin. Kevin. Anyway, but the funny part, that's funny enough, but the funny part is later, the next day, he talks about someone coming up to him and saying, Kevin, we're really sorry about that woman, but she's been named, don't you worry, she's been named and shamed. And so Kevin Bridges goes, the second that he said in that Northern Irish accent, says, don't ye worry, he goes, I started to worry.
He says, I was picturing her in the trunk, in the boot of a Volvo somewhere. Ah, well. Anyway, I'll post it below. It's much more funny than my rendition, I guess. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe mine was funny. You can laugh at me, whereas with Kevin, you can laugh with him. Anyway, so that's about it. Oh, I usually cut out the video before this. So anyway, I'm gonna head out. Hope everyone's having a great day or night if you're out in Canada. And catch you on the flip side. À la prochaine. Get out in the sun. Number one. If you don't want the vaccine, fine. Get out in the sun. Especially now in the north, right? Sun's starting to go away. Ciao.